Hello, friends. Well, it has been a long while since we had done some proper breaking news over here. All right, are you ready? So, the time has come, and I present to you the newest MontBlanc Great Characters. Homage to Queen. And then I do have to specify for those that might be confused, we're not talking about the late Queen Elizabeth of England. We are talking about the legendary band Queen. So, and as such, I believe there is, from the top of my head, there is one more legendary band, British band, that has been featured by MontBlanc. So that's fun. And I'll just display one or two pictures of Beatles collection pens. I think I, from the top of my head, remember one or two pens. It's been a while. And I myself have an ink from that collection that was purple. And that was a very exciting ink. So I have my hopes up here. So let's talk about it. By the time of me recording this video is pretty early in release, so I was able to find just a couple of pictures of what is going to be in this collection, including this ink here. And I will show you a couple of pictures, a couple of designs at different price points in MontBlanc Boutique. Some of these come from MontBlanc boutique images from Europe. So at this point, I have not really seen them in the US. This is where I'm located. Boutique online, but I've gotten a couple of images from the European store. And if you remember from the pictures that I showed with the Beatles design, the two pictures, you could see some of that similarity. I feel like the way they wanted to go, as far as the lines, stripes, writing, different elements are something that those who are familiar with the bands will be attracted to. So there's definitely that recurring thinking and design elements that I can see in both Beatles and Queen. There is consistency that I appreciate. So it doesn't matter if you personally are attracted or not to the pens. As far as consistency, I would say they've done a pretty good job. Although, please let me know if you're a fan of Queen and what are your thoughts? Would you like this design choice or not? I'm always happy to hear everything you have to say down in the comments. If you've been here for a while, you know this is where I keep them. I keep these little handy watercolor, hot press watercolor, usually Fabriano and Arches pieces. This is where we usually make our swatches. So here we go. My piece here. Got my own handmade piece of pottery for us to clean our handy Kolinsky brush. That's a watercolor brush. And I also have my good old glass nib fountain pen, if I can open it. But yes, there is a blank cap up here. And just a second, I'll try and open it. I've never done it before, so we'll see if I can succeed. All right, I guess we are out of luck here, but you'll have to believe me. All right, so I'm ready to make all the swatches. I also have this really fun little, let me show you, pen and, you know, anything holder that has to do with your writing instruments, but also your brushes and pencils, you know, whatever you want. So this is 3-slot holder that I made. So this is my handmade item that I made out of porcelain. And this is my design. It's all hand painted, hand etched. And I based it on, you know, my favorite vintage and antique designs that are out there. All right, so I'm ready for this, and I hope you are too. This is our piece of paper. And so as such, I'm gonna move our things around a little because I'm excited to crack this open with you. I have not opened it. You'll be as surprised as I am here. So this comes off. And whoop. Okay, I think we'll need to take a look at this beautiful box. But okay, that's how we know it's completely new and an open bottle. All the safety stickers are off. And we do have a regular instruction in here. I'm going to take a look at it just because it's mostly common knowledge how they look like. If you're ever interested, you can look online or make a request and I'll unfold it for you on next time we do this. All right, so this is the box. This is the main Queen logo here. You know, all kinds of things they have to say in different languages. Interestingly, so this says great characters, homage to Queen Red. And then I turn it around. And what do we see? 2025 Ceremony of Roses. So Ceremony of Roses, it's something that piques my interest. I think might be the actual name for this ink. We'll see. All right. That is a fun design. Queen, hammer to fall. Nice. All right, you guys, if you're a fan, this is a pretty neat box. For once, I'm very happy with what they've done here. Okay. So, let's take a look at our ink bottle. Okay. So far it looks very seasonal, red. To me, it looks, you know, potentially a bit of a moodier, rustier red through the bottle. But we shall see. Okay. Hopefully I'll be able to open this one up. Let's see. Ooh, oh my. I got it. All right, looks very red. We'll see if I was right as far as if this is a moodier, more full-like red or brighter red. We'll see. All right, so here is our red. As usual, I'll make it nice and slow and we'll see how it comes on to paper. Then we'll see it in writing. And finally, I will have a couple of previous reds by MontBlanc that I have in my collection that we will take a look at. All right. Okay. Ooh, this reminds me of a bit of a coral red situation, actually. Just slightly unexpected, right? But we're here for that. We know that MontBlanc inks can be pretty unexpected, and I'm personally here for it. So let's see how this one writes. Of course, I put it away just as I needed to write with it. But, all right. All right. MontBlanc. Oh, man. It's pretty mesmerizing red. Homage. So this is Queen. Ceremony of Roses? Let's try that too. All right, you guys. I will let this beautiful color dry, and then we'll come back, take a look at how it actually looks dried, and compare it to some other ink swatches we have from MontBlanc. But before we take a look at the final results as they are completing their drying process, I also forgot to tell you, fun part is, some of you might know I make my own watercolor paint, and in addition to ceramic objects. And I found this one of my favorite rare pigment paints that I made, and it's called the Double Scarlet Red. So Double Scarlet is a pigment we no longer produce actively, so that's what it is. But it's on the table here because it's very red, and I really enjoy it. And so if you were wondering, what is this paint stone that you have with something on it? This is it. And this is actually a full pan of watercolor paint on here. All right, so let's take a look at this red. Okay. This is what we ended up with, right? And I would say, as usually, MontBlanc surprises. And this is not it. Well, not quite what I was expecting. I don't know about you. I like it. You know, it's almost this luminous red. And in person, I would say it's sort of almost seems a little bit like a neon pink and red mix. And I really do enjoy it. You know, there is that aspect to it that feels almost luminous, but it also is much softer than I expected. I do like it. Again, much more romantic than I expected, but if we see something that says Ceremony of Roses, I guess that makes sense in this case. Okay, you guys, this is our swatch. And now I'm going to remove a couple of objects so we can take a look at other things, other swatches I've made either on or off camera over the years. And let's take a look at how this one compares to some other inks. All right. So we do not forget what it is. We have our box right here, and then I will introduce the other contestants little by little. So one of my first videos on this channel was swatching this Olympic Heritage Red by MontBlanc. And, you know, some places in Europe, you can still buy this ink. So this is why I've decided to feature it, just in case you are able to find it, or because it was pretty recent, you might have it in your collection. Okay, so this is what we have in comparison. I would say the Olympic Heritage Red is definitely darker and deeper. Let's take a look. And it has a sheen that goes around. So I would say the Queen Red doesn't have any sheen. You know, if, I mean, I consider MontBlanc inks, they're not permanent, to be pretty safe for your sensitive pens, which includes vintage pens. But looking at this guy, I think even the lack of the sheen means that this is, you know, even safer. So I would not hesitate putting this one in my vintage Homage or my vintage Minerva pens. So this is a pleasant development for me. So this is two MontBlanc comparisons here. And let's introduce the third one because I could not help myself. So this third one is swatch of an ink that is, to my knowledge, no longer produced, but I still have found it being sold in a couple of stores in the US. Like Pen Boutique, I believe, had a couple of bottles last time I looked, maybe a month ago. And Drum Googles had one or two lingering at some point too. So I'm talking about the James Dean Rebel Red. And we just had to, you know, I had to compare these two just because I think they just are great together. And let's see if they compare at all. All right, so here we go. This is our MontBlanc James Dean Rebel Red. And funny enough, this comes out to me much more rusty and much more season appropriate, if you will, and very unexpected. So let me add the third one. So this is our Olympic Heritage Red. And as we can see, all three are very, very different. I will remove the boxes so we can zoom in and take a closer look at all three. But yes, here you go. I think all three are just very, very different reds. I am personally glad I have these in my collection, although if you have been around the community for a while, and especially those who collect MontBlanc inks, we sort of always have this joke floating around that MontBlanc just releases a lot of reds, and I think this is not an exception. But if I see such a difference between these reds, you know, I do not mind. So I'm glad I'm able to add this red to my collection. And let me know down in the comments what you think. Would you get this ink? Are you over reds? And what do you think about the new collection, Montblanc Queen? And I would love to hear from you. I would love to see you on this journey with me. And I do a lot of fun live interviews where you can just come into chat and talk to me, talk to my guests. And also you can see me on another channel, my friend Alexandra's Art Insanity channel, where we do our podcast. So I'm on a podcast that I'm co-hosting. It's called Desk Chatter. And it's been a blast. We've been around for over a year. And just come and have fun with us. All right, you guys. Thank you and see you again. Please like and subscribe if you like what I do.